You walk into Aldi on a Tuesday morning, and there's an employee in the cheese section loading her cart with blocks of something before the store even opens. She's not stocking shelves, she's shopping for herself. When you ask what she's buying, she smiles and says it's the one product that never makes it to the weekend if she doesn't grab it first. That product is sitting on the shelf right now, and it's number one on this list. But before we get there, you need to know about the 9 other items that Aldi employees, food enthusiasts, and longtime shoppers are calling the best deals of the year. We spent 3 weeks talking to current and former Aldi staff, analyzing prices across major grocery chains, and taste testing every product on this list. What we found shocked us. These aren't just good deals. These are products that compete with premium brands at a fraction of the cost, and most shoppers walk right past them without a second glance. Starting at number 10, let's talk about extra virgin olive oil. At Whole Foods, you'll pay $12 to $18 for a 500 milliliter bottle. Trader Joe's charges $9.99. Aldi sells their Casa Mirando extra virgin olive oil for $4.49. Pull the bottle off the shelf and look at the label. It's imported from a single estate in Greece. The color is deep golden green, almost emerald in certain light. Pour a small amount into a bowl. The aroma hits you immediately. Peppery, grassy, with this bright fruity note that cheap olive oil never has. Dip bread into it. You get that characteristic throat catch, that slight burn at the back that tells you the polyphenols are real. A former Whole Foods employee told us she switched to buying all her olive oil at Aldi after doing a blind taste test at home with her husband. He picked the Aldi bottle over a $16 competitor 3 times in a row. At $4.49 for 500 milliliters, you're paying 90 cents per 100 milliliters. Whole Foods charges $2.40 per 100 milliliters. You're saving 62%. For someone who cooks regularly, that's over $150 per year. Number 9 brings us to premium aged cheddar. At specialty stores, this costs $8 to $12 per pound. Whole Foods charges $10.99 for their house brand. Aldi's specially selected aged reserve white cheddar is $3.99 for an 8-ounce block. Unwrap it. The cheese is firm, almost hard with visible protein crystals throughout. Those little white crunchy bits are tyrosine crystals that only form during long aging. Break off a piece and it snaps cleanly. The texture is dense and crumbly in the best way. The flavor is intensely sharp without being harsh, nutty, slightly sweet, deeply complex. One store manager in Ohio said she keeps 6 blocks in her freezer at all times because when word gets out about a product this good at this price, it disappears. A food enthusiast ran a blind taste test with 5 different aged cheddars. The Aldi cheddar placed second, losing only to a $13 artisan cheddar from Vermont. At $3.99 for 8 ounces, you're paying $7.98 per pound. Whole Foods charges $10.99. Buy this weekly for a year and you save over $75 just on cheese. Number 8 is the one thing employees say they judge other shoppers for not buying. Premium butter brands like Kerrygold charge $4.49 to $5.99 per 8-ounce package at most stores. Aldi's Countryside. Creamery European-style butter is $2.29 for 8 ounces. Pick up the package. The butter inside has a deeper yellow color than American butter. That's because European-style butter has a higher butterfat content, typically 82% compared to 80% in standard American butter. Unwrap a stick. The texture is different, creamier, denser, silkier. Spread it on toast while it's still cold. It doesn't tear the bread. It glides. The flavor is richer, more complex, cultured. A retired pastry chef from Chicago told us she refuses to use anything else now and keeps 10 packages in her freezer because at this price, she can afford to bake like she did in professional kitchens. A longtime Aldi shopper said she brought croissants made with this butter to a holiday party, and 3 people asked for the recipe. When she told them the secret was $2 butter from Aldi, Two of them didn't believe her. At $2.29 for 8 ounces, you're paying 28 cents per ounce. Kerrygold charges 62 cents per ounce. Use a pound of butter per week and you save over $90 per year. Number 7 is about to change how you think about coffee forever. Specialty coffee at places like Starbucks costs $12 to $15 per 12-ounce bag. Aldi's Barissimo Fairtrade Certified Medium Roast whole bean coffee is $5.49 for 12 ounces. Open the bag. The aroma that hits you is bright, clean, complex. You can smell chocolate notes, a little citrus, something nutty in the background. Grind the beans. They're uniform in size, properly roasted. Brew it. The coffee is smooth, balanced, not bitter, not sour, just clean and flavorful with a medium body that works black or with cream. A former Starbucks barista told us she did a cupping session at home comparing this to Starbucks Pike Place and honestly couldn't tell which was which in a blind test. A retired couple in Florida said they used to spend $40 a month on Starbucks beans and now spend $11 on Aldi beans with zero decrease in quality. At $5.49 for 12 ounces, you're paying 45 cents per ounce. Starbucks charges $1 per ounce. For daily coffee drinkers, switching to this saves over $300 per year. That's a car payment. That's real money back in your pocket for literally the same morning experience. Number 6 is where Aldi really starts to separate itself from every other grocery chain. Wild caught salmon at regular grocery stores runs $12 to $18 per pound. Whole Foods charges $15.99 per pound. Trader Joe's frozen wild salmon is $9.99 per pound. Aldi's Fremont Fish Market wild caught pink salmon is $6.99 per pound in frozen fillets. Pull a package from the freezer case. These are individually vacuum sealed portions. Thaw one and look at the color. It's deep pink, not that pale peachy color farmed salmon has. The flesh is firm. Cook it simply, just salt, pepper, and lemon. The texture is meaty, substantial, with that characteristic wild salmon flavor that's richer and more complex than farmed. A nutritionist in Seattle said she recommends this exact product to clients who need to increase omega-3 intake, but are on fixed incomes. A food enthusiast posted that she served this at a dinner party, and guests assumed she'd paid premium prices at a fish market. At $6.99 per pound, you're paying about half what you'd spend at Whole Foods. Eat salmon twice a week for a year, and you save over $400 compared to shopping at conventional stores. Number 5 might be the single best value in the entire store. Premium dark chocolate bars from brands like Lindt or Ghirardelli cost $3.50 to $5 per 3.5-ounce bar at most stores. Aldi's Moser Roth Premium Dark Chocolate is 99 cents for 4.4 ounces. Read that again. 99 cents? Pick up a bar. The packaging is sleek, European, understated. Break off a square. The chocolate snaps cleanly with that satisfying crack that indicates proper tempering. Put a square on your tongue and let it melt. The flavor is deep, complex, slightly fruity with very little bitterness. The cocoa percentage is 70%, which is the sweet spot for dark chocolate that's rich without being harsh. A chocolatier who runs a small shop in Portland said she buys these bars to use in her own baking at home because the quality to price ratio is absurd. A man in his 70s said he used to ration expensive chocolate as a rare treat and now keeps a bar of this in his desk drawer because at 99 cents, he can actually afford to enjoy it regularly. At 99 cents for 4.4 ounces, you're paying 22 cents per ounce. Lindt charges $1 per ounce. You're saving 78%. Have a few squares of dark chocolate daily, and you save over $200 per year compared to buying premium brands. Number 4 is where Aldi proves they're not even playing the same game as other grocery stores. Grass-fed ground beef at conventional grocery stores costs $8 to $12 per pound. Whole Foods charges $9.99 per pound. Aldi's Simply Nature grass-fed ground beef is $5.99 per pound. Open the package. The color is deep red, darker than conventional grain-fed beef. The fat is more yellow because grass-fed cattle produce meat with higher levels of beta-carotene. Cook it. The beef doesn't release pools of water and fat like cheap ground beef does. It stays together, browns properly, develops real flavor. The taste is richer, beefier, cleaner than conventional beef. This isn't just about flavor. It's about what's not in the meat. No antibiotics, no added hormones, cattle raised on pasture instead of feedlots. A former rancher in Texas said this beef is comparable to what he used to sell at farmers markets for $12 per pound. A grandmother in Pennsylvania said she switched her whole family to this beef after her doctor recommended reducing antibiotic exposure. At $5.99 per pound, you're paying 40% less than Whole Foods. Use 2 pounds per week for a year, and you save over $400. That's cleaner meat. Better for you at a price that's lower than conventional beef at some stores. Number 3 is where things get emotional. Organic eggs at major grocery stores run $5 to $7 per dozen. Whole Foods charges $6.49. Aldi's Simply Nature. Organic free-range eggs are $3.99 per dozen. Open the carton. The eggs are large, uniform, clean. Crack one into a bowl. The yolk stands up tall and firm, deep golden orange. That color comes from the hen's diet and indicates higher nutrient density. The whites are thick and viscous, not watery. The flavor is richer than conventional eggs. The texture is better, and these are certified organic, which means no synthetic pesticides, no antibiotics, and hens with access to outdoor space. A woman who keeps backyard chickens said these eggs are closer to her own than anything she finds in stores. A retired nurse said she buys 6 cartons at a time because her entire family switched to these eggs, and at $3.99, she can actually afford to keep everyone stocked. At $3.99 per dozen, you're paying 33 cents per egg. Whole Foods charges 54 cents per egg. Go through a dozen eggs per week, and you save over $130 per year. These aren't just cheaper eggs. These are better eggs at a price that makes eating organic accessible instead of aspirational. Number 2 is the product that has people driving across town specifically to stock up. Imported Italian prosciutto at specialty stores costs $18 to $30 per pound. Whole Foods charges $24.99 per pound. Aldi's specially selected Prosciutto di Parma is $7.99 for a 3-ounce package. That works out to $42 per pound, which sounds expensive until you realize you're getting authentic Parma prosciutto with the Consorzio del Prosciutto di Parma seal for less than half of what Whole Foods charges. Open the package. The slices are paper thin, delicate, deep rose pink with ribbons of white fat. Drape a slice over your palm. You can see light through it. Put it in your mouth. It dissolves almost immediately. Buttery, sweet, nutty with that perfect balance of salt and fat that makes prosciutto one of the world's great cured meats. A chef who trained in Italy said he uses this for home entertaining because he refuses to serve his guests inferior prosciutto, but also refuses to spend $100 on meat for one dinner party. At $7.99 for 3 ounces, you're getting luxury tier imported meat at a price that makes it a regular purchase instead of a special occasion splurge. You're eating like someone with money while spending like someone with sense. And that brings us to number 1, the product employees grab before their shifts start. The item that disappears from shelves by Saturday. This is it. Irish butter. Not just any butter. Kerrygold Irish butter. At most stores, Kerrygold costs $4.49 to $5.99 per 8-ounce package. Target charges $4.79. Kroger wants $5.49. Aldi sells Kerrygold Irish butter for $2.99 per 8-ounce package. Let that sink in. The exact same product. Same green and gold packaging. Same Irish grass-fed cows. Same rich golden butter inside for $2.99. This isn't a store brand that tastes similar. This is the actual name brand that food magazines call the best butter in America for 40% less than you'll pay anywhere else. Unwrap the package. The butter is deeply golden, the color of marigolds. The smell is rich, slightly sweet, grassy. Spread it on warm bread. The flavor is extraordinary, creamy, complex, cultured with this subtle tang that comes from the cream being churned the traditional way. Use it in baking, and your cookies will taste like they came from a French bakery. Put it on steak, and you'll understand why steakhouses charge $18 for a piece of beef. This butter transforms everything it touches. A baker in Vermont said she drives 20 miles to the nearest Aldi. Specifically for this butter because even with the gas money, she saves hundreds of dollars per year. A man who grew up in Ireland said this butter tastes like home, and he keeps 8 packages in his freezer. An employee at an Aldi in Michigan said customers have gotten genuinely upset when the butter is sold out, and staff members are known to text each other when a shipment arrives so they can grab theirs before it hits the sales floor. At $2.99 for 8 ounces, you're paying 37 cents per ounce. Other stores charge between 53 and 70 cents per ounce. You're saving anywhere from 30 to 47%. Use a pound of butter per week, and you save between $150 and $250 per year, depending on where you usually shop. This is the item that makes people true believers in Aldi. The one that proves you don't have to sacrifice quality to save money. The one that once you know about it, you can't imagine not buying. 10 products that redefine what grocery shopping can be. Olive oil that rivals bottles 3 times the price. Aged cheddar with real depth and complexity. European butter that bakes like a dream. Coffee that tastes like the expensive stuff. Wild salmon that's actually affordable enough to eat regularly. Dark chocolate at 99 cents. Grass-fed beef that's cleaner and cheaper than conventional. Organic eggs with bright orange yolks. Prosciutto di Parma for less than half the normal price. And Kerrygold butter for $2.99 that people literally hoard. These items have been sitting on Aldi shelves this whole time. Most shoppers walk right past them. Now you know what the employees know. You know what the food enthusiasts know. You know what smart shoppers have been keeping quiet about because they don't want their stores to run out.